President's Day and segment 3 on the flashback. Welcome in, everybody, to our final segment. It is Hondo. I am Radio Hondo, along with Green MC, Nate Dogg. We have been talking about the NBA. We've been talking about cycling. We've been talking about so many exciting things. That's right. We also got into the latest phenomenon happening right now, maybe on your streets at home, in the suburbs, the downtown areas. I've witnessed it twice in one day, one and a half times in a day.
If we're being accurate.
Yes. Suit boarding. That's happening. It's a thing.
Suit boarding, yes.
It's a thing. Check it out. Segment 2, suit boarding. Talked about it. If you're not suit boarding already, you're probably going to be doing it by tomorrow without even realizing it.
It's like Twitter. It's just catching fire.
We've discussed it. Charles Barkley, we didn't get into Charles too much. I said we were going to talk about Charles, but we didn't. He's all over the news. Really kind of controversial guy.
Charles talks about himself enough where you don't even need to talk about him because Charles will let you know what Charles is thinking. The guy has a lightning rod.
So that ends the discussion on Charles Barkley. Glad you could join us for that on the Flashback. Radio Hondo and Green MC Nate Dogg. We do want to get into who's sliding, who's gliding in the top 25 for college basketball. Not too much of a mix-up here in the top 25 over the weekend, but we're getting into more of the discussion to some bubble teams, however. And before we do that, though, Dick Vitale.
Yeah, Dickie V, legendary.
Large part of the game. Now, he's been with ESPN since 1979.
Has he? Okay, that makes sense.
I thought he was... You know, he probably does more work, too. He does CBS stuff, doesn't he, as well, with the other networks? So not only is he doing the ESPN thing, but he's just everywhere you look when it comes to college basketball.
He is college basketball, for sure. He's definitely one of the guys you associate with when you think of college basketball is Dickie V. Love him or hate him.
And one of the other things that we always think of when we think of college basketball is the rivalries. One of those rivalries...
Oh, yeah.
The old Tobacco Road.
Oh, Duke, North Carolina. That doesn't get
Battle
much better
of the
than
Blues. The panel. I mean, just so many storylines here from the early days. I mean, probably since Duke changed his name from Trinity to Duke, these two have been rivals.
Well, and the proximity of the two schools. I mean, they're so close they can throw a rock and hit each other almost.
And they probably do on occasion. Dick Vitale, though, he has called that game, every single one of them, on ESPN since he started in 1979.
Holy cow, that's amazing.
But he's not going to be a part of it this year.
You got to be kidding me.
No. And it's not a health concern. It's not a contract reason. He's still with ESPN. They're still going to be extending it. However, for some reason, he's out of there.
Well, that's just doesn't seem right. I mean, if he's done every single game since he's been with ESPN, and he said it's not a health concern or something like that.
So Dan Shulman, Jay Billis, a UNC guy, or he was Dookie.
He was a Dookie. Yeah, Jay Billis was a Dookie.
Dan Shulman and Jay Billis. And I like Jay Billis. He does a great job, I think.
Yeah, and I just apologize for calling Jay Billis a Dookie. By the way, I just realized that a Duke alum maybe is the more proper way to say it.
Let me apologize for saying UNC, unfortunately. I corrected myself quickly, though. Sometimes they're so tied together that you get them mixed up.
Right.
But Jay Billis, great analyst.
Sure.
They're the number 2 team, I guess. I don't know how they grade that. It's like a 1 and a 1A when it comes to Dan Shulman and Jay Billis. And then you have Dick Vitale and the guy that he works with. It doesn't matter really who Dickie V's working with. He's going to talk him over him anyway.
Right. I'm still kind of blown away by that news that Dick Vitale's not going to be calling the game, especially when there doesn't seem like they're giving any good reason why he's not doing it.
Yeah, that's all I could get out of the story. So I'm going to drop you right there.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. I mean, I guess they're, maybe they see the end is coming for Dickie V, where they're trying to get a new voice in there before people get, people are already attached to him calling that game. Maybe they're trying something new while he's still.
Well, here's another part of it, too. Maybe, with the health, he hasn't had the greatest health. It's obviously
he's had some issues, sure.
He gets older. This is going to be the first UNC Duke matchup since Dean Smith passed, too.
Oh, well, yeah. Maybe they're looking for a fresh start of sorts then. Kind of. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting, but
it's very,
kind of an end of an era thing.
So really 2 legends out of there. And we talked about Dean Smith in our last show.
Oh, yeah. He and Tarkanian, two Hall of Fame coaches. both passing in the same week last week. Very sad.
If there was a Mount Rushmore, Dean Smith's certainly on there.
Yeah, I don't know if Tark would be on there, but Dean Smith absolutely would. But
well, if there was a Mount Rushmore in Las Vegas, he'd be on it.
Yeah. Tark would be, what's the other monument they're carving out there? Crazy Horse?
Yeah.
That would be Tark. Tark would have his own. Tark the Shark.
Never gets completed.
Chewing on a towel.
Although I saw parts of the Crazy Horse, and they're kind of a distance away.
Yeah.
But if you're driving around, because North Dakota, you think, everything's far away in North Dakota. Even when you're somewhere, you're still far away from your own self. It was nice. But what they did in Las Vegas for Tark, though, they turned the lights down momentarily.
At the Thomas and Mack Center?
Yeah, all the excess lights.
Okay.
In Vegas.
Oh, you mean in Vegas, the city?
On the Strip.
Wow. Holy cow. Okay.
Yeah. Not all the lights, just
Right.
the excess external lights. So it's a dimming of the city almost.
God, so almost like a flag at half mast kind of thing.
Exactly.
The dimming of the lights. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's good that they trimmed. That Tark meant so much to that city. So that's good that they paid him the proper respect.
And that took place right after the UNLV game at Mack Court or Mack Center.
Thomas and Mack Center.
Thomas and
Yeah.
Mack Center. So, here's another rough thing about that UNLV. You ever go down there? I go down there for football games sometimes if the Cougs are playing or Boise State.
Okay.
Or for a bowl game, the Las Vegas Bowl is always fun. You can drink at the stadium, which
Go gambling afterwards. You can probably go gambling during the game if you want to do that. I'm sure they have slots in the concession stands.
So they have mixed drinks and everything. So if you want a 7 and 7, you want just a regular beer, you can get it all.
Nice.
It's great atmosphere, I think. But it's so far from the Strip. It's like 20 miles. I know it's $26 on the taxi ride.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
26 or 36, something like that. Anyway, we took a bus back the first time we had gone. But, yeah, and the court is quite a ways, too.
Yeah.
They're both off campus.
Right.
As well, which makes it great for the partying. But you'll never forget that image of him sitting around in the pool. Anyhow, Dick Vitale, that was where we started with it, but he's not going to be a part of it. So different, not a part of the UNC, the Duke Tobacco Road game. Do want to jump into this top 25 real quick. Any surprises you saw over the weekend that kind of got to you, or teams you've been thinking about right now?
You know, the one who's looking really strong that I did get to see a little bit this weekend was Wisconsin. They're looking sharp. They're always kind of in the fringes of being in the top 4, but man, if they can catch a run, I'd look for them in the NCAA tournament. They're kind of a dark horse right now. No one's really talking about them, but they are a solid team.
I like the Big Ten overall. I know last week we mentioned a couple of conferences talking about the depth of the Big 12. The ACC, of course, always there.
Oh, yeah.
Big East is kind of a drop-off. You have Villanova and I believe one other team, maybe Butler's in the top 25 there.
Yeah.
Somebody else is in the top 25.
They just suffered that attrition from losing half their teams to the ACC was the problem with the Big East. But, yeah, there's still some quality basketball out there, like you said, with Villanova.
But we didn't mention the Big Ten.
Oh, that's right.
And the Big Ten has been very deep the last few years. 4 or 5 solid teams in there, especially with the re-rise of Indiana over the past decade or so. But yeah, Wisconsin, you look at that team.
Maryland's looking good out of the Big Ten. You've got Ohio State is looking pretty good out of the Big Ten.
Maryland always one of those scares when they were in the ACC too.
And Michigan State, don't ever count Michigan State out. That is one team I have learned to never discount, because even if they squeak into the tournament, look out, because they can catch fire.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. With the great coaching, you can never go wrong. Yeah, Butler is at that 19th spot. And Ohio State, who's kind of dropped off quite a bit.
They lost a lot from last year, sure.
Yeah, so they're 19-7, still sitting in the 24 spot. They're still decent. They're going to make it into the tournament. You have Michigan State, Indiana, not too far behind in that type of situation. So you're probably going to have at least probably six teams from the Big Ten in the tournament this year. And that's not a surprise with the consistency that they've had.
They're playing some good basketball out there, and like you said, it's not just the history and heritage of the teams like Michigan State and that. You're right. You've got some new up and comers coming in there too. So
have a few bubble teams. Boise State is a bubble team.
Are they really? Boise, the Broncos.
Their program over the last 4 years has really been coming along, and this is a good thing.
Yeah, because didn't they make the tournament for the first time just about 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
I think it was
something along those lines.
I think it was, and they've been dwindling in the CBA. They've been doing the CBI tournament,
and
also making some waves at the NIT.
Good for them.
And their program's getting together.
Good.
And just as a bigger picture for a team like Boise State, for their basketball program to get together, if their basketball starts doing well, and they have the football. It's not a huge market, but at some time the Big 12 is going to have to be a Big 14, or the Pac-12 is going to have to be a Pac-14 or Pac-16.
You know what I think would push Boise State over the top in basketball?
Wrestling.
A blue court.
Oh, a blue
court. If they were able to get a blue court, I think that would be the final thing that would push them over the top.
That would definitely be coast to coast.
Just can't see. It's like playing on water.
Probably the play-by-play guys would use that a little bit too much with the blue court.
Yeah.
There's a coast to coast. There's a coast to coast. That'll move the chains.
Ooh, piece of candy. That was from an earlier segment. We'll stop that.
It's like the 40th anniversary of the sports special Saturday Night Live. That'll move the chains. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg Stink.
That'll get the chains moving. All right. So you have Boise State. Oregon was on the fringe there, along with another bubble team at UCLA this weekend.
Yeah, and I believe UCLA beat my I'm an Oregon Duck graduate. So yeah, UCLA beat us pretty handily, I think by 10 or 11. Yeah, they looked pretty good, and now Joe Lunardi, who is commonly referred to as kind of the go-to guy for the last 4 teams in, last 4 teams out, he has UCLA as one of the last 4 in, and now Oregon has dropped to one of the last 4 out. But there's still 5 games to go before the tournament start, the conference tournament start. So I think Oregon can still make a little run, take care of business, sneak into the tournament.
Well, they have a little bit lighter schedule-wise. They have OSU. They have Stanford, who's not a Stanford team, right?
Yeah, they. In fact, next weekend they actually play Utah, which is going to be very tough. Utah and Colorado in Eugene, and then they end the season with the Bay Area swing, Cal, Stanford, and then they finalize it with Oregon State. So not an easy road, but not a ridiculous road either.
No. Certainly you can get the Colorado win. Utah's going to be tough.
Yep.
Cal's open. Stanford's not the quality they've been. Cal's right there, towards the middle.
Cal's towards the middle bottom, and yeah,
that's 6 and 7.
There's some definite.
Overall,
there's some opportunity there. Let's put it that way.
Basically the same team as Oregon. It just depends on who's been on the better swing. But they're gonna 3 road games to finish out. That kind of hurts.
That's tough. But
although
on the
one's
flip,
just one Corvallis.
Yeah, that's true. Really on the flip side of the coin, UCLA, got to tip my hat to them. They looked really good. They played us very well, very different from the first time when Oregon beat them in Eugene. Yeah, UCLA's looking like they're starting to peak at the right time. They still have a ways to go, but they're looking pretty good.
Well, they had Parker back for this game.
It's
the first game they didn't have Parker.
Didn't have him.
They were on the road. Now they got to go down. They were in Pauley Pavilion this time around with Parker. Crowd was into it early.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, right now, if it stands pat, the Pac-12 is only getting 3 teams in. Right now, it would just be Arizona, Utah, and then UCLA if the pundits are correct.
Darn pundits.
Yeah, well, kind of a down year for the old Pac-12, but we're pretty young. We're pretty young as a whole in the conference.
It's a really down year. And then Arizona, Utah. I mean, those are the strong points there.
Yeah.
You may see a 4th Pac-12 team in there.
If
Arizona,
someone catches
Utah.
a run in the conference tournament, yeah, you could see a 4th team in there. But as it stands right now, it's looking like the Pac-12 is only going to get 3. And that frees up more spots for the Big Ten, the ACC, and some of those conferences that are playing great basketball right now.
And Oregon State slumped.
They are, yeah.
4 out of 6 they've dropped now.
Boy, I tell you, Wayne Tinkle at the halfway point had my vote for Coach of the Year. And that's saying something for a Duck to endorse a Beaver coach. Man, he really is doing so much with that program. But yeah, they've definitely hit a rough patch.
With a bunch of walk-ons.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
had open tryouts at the beginning of the season.
Man, I am, whatever happens with Oregon State, I am impressed with their coaching regime now. I think they have got a really good, solid foundation for the future with Wayne Tinkle.
I think it may turn, though. They had a rough go. Like I said, they've dropped 4 of their last 6, but there is a bright side to this. If they finish strong, again, get in there, and they have the Pac-12 tournament.
Right.
They have 5 games to go: Utah, Colorado, Stanford, Cal, and Oregon. So same basic schedule as Oregon, obviously.
Right.
So they can win all of those games.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they have signs telling them that they will.
Such as what?
Did you hear about what happened this weekend?
No, I did not.
Let me tell you a little bit of the story. All right, this takes place in California. They were on a plane heading back. They had just lost to USC and UCLA over Wednesday and Saturday with the Bay. Excuse me, not the Bay Area, but the LA schools. They're heading back home on Alaska Airlines flight.
Okay.
And there's also another basketball team on the plane. It was the University of Portland ladies basketball team.
Oh,
Portland
yeah, the Pilots, sure.
Having a rough situation. 7 straight for them that they've lost.
Yeah. Not a comfortable flight home with either of those teams. A lot of sadness.
Tell you that. So they're heading home, and the flight gets turned around. They have to go back. Emergency landing.
Okay.
There was a passenger. She was bit or stung, I should say, by a scorpion.
What?
Kid you not. Kid you not. They got to go back to California, land the plane. A huge delay, of course, an extended delay. Maybe it was like an hour or so, because she had to be treated for medical emergency. So they go back to the nearest airport, land at the nearest airport, take care of the situation. But scorpion apparently was in somebody's bag somehow.
Oh, what?
Creeped out. I don't know how big the thing was. But this is what I say about the bright side. Because I ended up doing an update about this. I'm like, there's got to be something more. What does a scorpion stand for? Well, some believe that the scorpion stands for a state of transition.
Oh, okay.
And optimism. When referring to death, it means the new life. So it kind of carries that theme to it. They've dropped 4 of the last 6.
So it's got nowhere to go but up. This is you saying the scorpion was the transition.
The Pilots have lost the last 7.
University of Portland Pilots women basketball and Oregon State men's basketball are going to go on big runs because of the scorpion.
Because of it's the power of the scorpion. I'm telling you, man.
I look forward to seeing this prediction come true.
If we see this happen,
we could be onto something. You might see teams packing scorpions onto future flights.
Here's the only downside of it, though. I don't know if it works when the scorpion is on the bottom of a shoe.
Why would that make a difference?
Well, they killed the scorpion, obviously.
Mazel tov. It's like good luck, right? It's kind of like a combination.
Well, no, don't kill you. Oh. So
it's like breaking a mirror. Now you got 7 years of bad luck for killing the scorpion.
They're either going to not win a single game the rest of the season, or they will turn it around. Either way, that scorpion's going to do something for them. Okay, that's it. We have one more bit that we do want to talk to before we get out of here. We covered our football. We covered our baseball. We covered some basketball. We got all that jazz in. Dickie V, sad story. Valentine's Day and President's Day. Did you do anything special for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, actually, a buddy of mine plays the trumpet, and he had a Valentine's.
That's a great story.
Isn't that great?
This is getting
nothing like a romantic Valentine's Day with a trumpet.
That's how he woke you up in the morning. Happy Valentine's Day, buddy. What's up?
He actually he's quite talented, and so my girl. I'm trying to rope this back in here. My girlfriend and I attended his concert on the eve of Valentine's Day.
Oh,
it was
nice.
It was like a dinner theater kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we had some dessert, some cheesecake, watched a concert, got to see a couple trumpet solos. So yeah, it was nice, and we exchanged Valentine's gifts, and had a nice Valentine's Day.
Then you went home and had a trumpet solo of your own.
I actually went home and had a Papa Murphy's heart-shaped pizza for one.
I love that. The heart-shaped pizza. Only the lonely.
It's just their regular round pizza, except for some minimum wage employee takes and sticks his finger in the little deal and makes a groove to make a heart.
I don't do the shaped pizza because I always think I'm getting ripped off somehow.
I think you're getting less dough and less toppings because you're not getting the full circumference of the circle. So right, I think you're right. Pizza for one.
Do they make that in a personal dish? Personal pan
I didn't
size?
check. I actually, funny enough, I joke about it. I actually did buy the heart-shaped pizza from Papa Murphy's, but it was
I like Papa
it was to
Murphy's.
share with the girlfriend and
Get it for nostalgic's sake too. Always get a heart-shaped
Nothing
pizza.
says love like pepperoni.
So that was your Valentine's Day. That's very nice. I had a similar incident. I had pizza as well on Valentine's Day.
Hey, we're onto something.
My wife and I, we spent Valentine's Day on Thursday just because we had some obligations. I have a nephew who has a birthday on the 18th, so I decided why not spend that Saturday, give my sister and her husband a day to kind of do a Valentine's Day thing.
Oh, that's nice.
They never get out of the house. I got 2 kids, right?
Yeah,
They're both
yeah.
under 5. So we took the boys out to Chuck E. Cheese. I grew up happy birthdays all the time at Chuck E. Cheese, right?
A Chuck E. Cheese. You spent Valentine's Day with the mouse.
Right. And
Nice.
I thought it was going to work out great. Like,
Yeah.
oh, man, people are going to be home Valentine's Day.
I'll have the ball pit all to myself.
Yeah. Not working. Place was packed.
Really?
Still packed.
Now, here's the big question.
Yeah.
Do they do heart-shaped pizzas for Valentine's Day
They
at Chuck
didn't.
E. Cheese? Oh, those rotters.
They didn't. But I'll tell you what. So the wife and I haven't told the wife this. Janet takes the boys, gets the table. I'm waiting in line. You order the pizza right up front now. They do everything very, very, very strict and very secure and safely. Because you're dealing with kids. They've had incidents.
Gotcha.
Chuck E. Cheese in the
They've
past.
streamlined the process.
Exactly. So I get up to the front, the register. I go through, I order some stuff, this and that. I did get a discount. They gave me a discount.
Really? For
Yeah.
what reason? For Valentine's Day?
Because I'm a good-looking guy and it's Valentine's Day.
Is that what it is?
It was a lady at the register. She must have thought these were my kids. Maybe she felt sorry for me.
She thought you looked like the kind of guy who deserved a break on Valentine's Day. This guy's not here with anybody. Give him a discount on a pizza.
If we don't, he could get angry.
Sir, here's an extra token.
Angry KG comes out. Discount pizza. So we got the break. Got the break of the pizza. That was nice. She gave me like $7 off.
Oh, wow, that's pretty significant.
So like for 4 of us, I ended up getting like the 80 token package.
Oh.
You get 80 tokens. Yeah, way too much, especially for
I'm surprised you're still not there playing skee ball.
Yeah, especially for kids that are 3 and 5. 80 is, yeah, if you have 2 of them, they're not burning through 80.
You went home with extra tokens is what you're saying.
They take more time. Yeah, they take more time to figure out what games they're going to play than actually playing games. So it worked out okay. They'll have some for another time. So that was my Valentine's Day. One thing I do want to do, it is President's Day, though. To close it out, who's your favorite president?
Favorite president? That's a good question.
And I tell you right now, I have a degree in history, so
I can't fake my way through this.
I swear, if you say Benjamin Franklin, I'm going to jump over this counter right now.
Luckily, I hate Benjamin Franklin.
What are you talking about? He was like the second or third president. He created the electric company, didn't he?
All right. Well, we're gonna test your knowledge, Mr. History Major.
All right, fine.
My favorite president is the 22nd and the 24th president of the United States.
Grover Cleveland.
Grover Cleveland. Good
course,
job.
yeah.
Kudos, sir.
Yeah, Grover
Yes.
Cleveland. Interesting man, Grover Cleveland. Basically, had to get back as a president by default on that second term. Yeah, Chester Arthur.
No, he was preceded by Chester A. Arthur. He was succeeded by Benjamin Harrison.
Okay, so Benjamin Harrison died, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, did he? I don't
Did he
know.
die?
I was a
pretty
history
close.
major.
I
This
think he
is
was
your
like,
field.
I think Benjamin Harrison was either Zachary Taylor or Benjamin Harrison, one of the oldest presidents. Zachary Taylor, I think, died of pneumonia. I get those two mixed up. Zachary Taylor was up there too, but he died of pneumonia shortly after. Caught pneumonia during his inaugural speech, Zachary Taylor.
Holy cow. God, you're just a veritable font of facts.
But Grover Cleveland, this is not an era that I was a huge fan of. He was, 1870s, 1880s?
He was, yes. He was in office from March 4th, 1885 through March 4th, 1889.
Yeah, that's kind of where I pick up on the history. I'm more, I like that Reconstruction era, which he was a part of, but I kind of get into that closer to the turn of the century and the Gilded Age. That's where you saw some really
That's
good
the
stuff.
money shot.
Yeah.
And then he was, just to clarify, because he was the 22nd and the 24th, he was also in office from March 1893 through March 1897 was his second term.
Yeah, so he caught the...
Right before the turn. Right before the turn.
That's what I'm talking about.
The thing that I really like about him is that his name always makes me think of Grover on Sesame Street. So that's really the appeal for me.
I'm the opposite way. When I think Grover Cleveland, I think Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh,
yeah.
See, I go more
So you
towards
go
the
off of first. Now.
I go for more of the Grover. What a great name, Grover.
Not a lot of Grovers.
Far.
Grover. Why am I saying Grover like that now?
It's fun to say. Try it at home.
Grover, George. There's a couple names out there that are just kind of dying off. Not a lot of G names these days.
Bummer. We need to bring them back.
Yeah, Gio's still there here and there. Yeah,
Greg's
one. But yeah, the G names kind of have just been thrown off to the side, man.
Well, I have to name my firstborn Gustav or something.
Yeah. Favorite first lady. It's always Jackie O, dude. It's always Jackie O.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
always
say,
playing
come on,
safe.
you gave me that
Go
look.
Jackie O.
Yeah, it's Jackie O. Come on. Who else am I gonna say?
I don't know. I kind of like the old school. Maybe Abigail Adams. Abigail Adams.
Or maybe you were so close with her, you knew her as Annabelle.
Yeah, she was my little bell. Abigail Adams. Yeah. Wow, good choice. Did you just pluck that one out of the air, or because of the uniqueness that he's the only two-time, kind of two separate terms?
He's the only two-time president. Yeah. I like that. I like the unique.
Who's our only three-time president?
I was a journalism major. Why are you putting me on the spot here?
Who's our only four-term?
Why don't you ask me who our current president is? I can answer that. And the past one.
Yeah, some people can't. Some people can't. I hate seeing that. That really disappoints me when you see shows. People go out on the street. Who's the president? They had political jokes or questions. You know, who's our current president right now? And they can't answer.
No, I'm not that bad.
That's embarrassing.
I don't know who was the only three-term president. Now you've got me.
The only third-term president was the same as the only fourth-term president, and that was FDR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, FDR, and he didn't finish that fourth term.
Oh,
remember? He didn't make it. He had a wheelchair. He had all sorts of.
I know he had all sorts of health problems.
Yeah. Delano out of New York. Okay, Grover Cleveland. He was also a New Yorker too.
He was.
Yeah, out of the state of New York. We've had 8 presidents, I believe, out of New York.
Look at all the learning you get with the flashback. You don't just get sports statistics.
That's why it's the flashback.
You don't just get witty banter. You get detailed, inscrutable information on Grover Cleveland.
How many of our presidents have had mustaches?
Now we're going to talk about G names.
I actually dated a girl who was a distant relative of Rutherford B. Hayes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, one of the forgotten presidents.
Another great first name, by the way, Rutherford.
Rutherford B. Hayes. Yeah, Rutherford. You got Rutherford, New Jersey. That's the only reference of Rutherford I can think outside of that.
I can't think of a single thing.
All right. Neither can we anymore, apparently, as we are winding down the flashback. It's been segment 3. Talk some college sport. If you have any I want to know who your favorite presidents are. People out there, if you're on the site, just shoot us a quick email right from the site. Just tell us who your favorite president was and why. Give me a reason.
And I want to know who else had pizza for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious about.
And I will also say, I don't necessarily have a favorite president myself because I didn't give an answer here this whole time.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, you put me on the spot and then you dodged it.
But I can tell you the president that I like the least ever.
Okay.
Andrew Jackson.
Not a fan of the $20 bill?
I don't know. Racist. I don't know. Divorcee. I don't know. Took away the central bank.
Doesn't have a cool first name like Rutherford or Grover?
Exactly. He went around, he killed Indians for no reason. He was having battles when wars were over. Battle of New Orleans? Yeah. The war's over, buddy. Stop. Stop.
This President's Day broadcast just took a turn to the dark side.
Yeah, it took the Cherokees out to the field with dirty blankets with smallpox and stuff.
Man, that Andrew Jackson. We should take away the 20 from it. You know what? In protest, you should give me all your 20s.
I don't know why he's on
give
the 20.
Give me all your 20s in protest.
He didn't believe in a central bank. Why is he even on a dollar bill? Oh, goodness. See what you got me going?
Apparently I struck a chord.
It's my fault. I brought up presidents. Okay, hey folks, thanks for listening to the Flashback. We'll be back next week. It's a non-holiday week, so we may actually have some topics to hit here, and we'll be done with the All-Star break by the time the next Flashback comes around, I believe. Yeah, the extended 1 week off. Some of these teams have as many as 9 days off before they play again.
Man,
let's get Flashback. I'm Radio Hondo. Check us out.